Welcome to the Client Tips and Tricks video series. Today, we are talking data pools. We have heard your feedback. Data pools can be tricky. So today, let's dive into some data pool tips and tricks. When creating basic data pools, we use delivered records from PeopleSoft. However, this restricts us to the way the data is structured. There are times you may need more flexibility in your data structure. In these cases, you could think about using additional binds, custom SQL, a query record, or create a custom view. Use additional binds when your data pool table source has non-key fields that you want to restrict by. In this example, we use the job record, which includes the effective status like active and inactive, but effective status is not a key field on the table. Use the additional bind feature to add the effective status to the data source and join to a constant of A for active. One caution to keep in mind when using additional bind feature is that it does add restrictions to your data source beyond the designated key fields. This means there is potential that you may end up with no matching values when the data pool runs. The second advanced feature is a customized SQL. The customized SQL feature allows you to view any SQL used by your data source as well as edit the SQL within the context of the form. This feature is best utilized when there's a table or view which might have the proper key structure you're looking for in a prompt, but may not have all the filter criteria you're wanting. You can add criteria to the SQL by modifying the where statement. In this example, we want to return only locations in a particular state, for example, Utah. We click the Load Data Pool SQL button to load the defaulted SQL, then the Customize SQL button to amend the where statement. Next, let's talk about query records in your data pool. For query users, the ability to create and use a query in your data pool can be a game changer in your form development. But one limitation to be aware of is queries can't be used to populate a prompt on a field. By using a query, you determine what data is available. The fields selected in your query become the data available to use as smart sources. Any prompt fields added become the key fields for your record. And always remember to save these as public process queries. Use the Add Query Source button. Note that only public process queries will show in the query name lookup. And finally, when these data pool options still aren't enough to meet your requirements, then it's time to look at using a custom view. Custom views are able to structure the data in the exact needs of the form. We can change and reorder the key fields and return specific fields. We can also pull data from different records, allowing the one custom view to return data that otherwise would have needed multiple data pools of delivered records to achieve. And here's a pro tip. If you started with a query, but now want a custom view instead, share the SQL you've written via query to a developer and have them create the view for you. Let's look at everything we talked about so far today. What we have seen is that data pools have many uses with lots of flexibility, as long as we don't try to use a query for a prompt value. Now it's your turn. Thanks for talking data pools with us today.